Hello, I'm Alan. Welcome to Serling Zone. I'm back here at the Phantasy Star online ruin space on my home planet, which has changed with the last update we had, and the base I've got round to downloading it again, which it's downloaded. Okay, it's got a few bits missing, and obviously it looks a bit different now. With the planet now has lots of bluegrass, and it's all grown right in, so it almost looks like it's 5 or 10 years in the future has passed. 5 or 10 years has passed, and it's even more in ruins here. One of the garage doors that I had here never reloaded, and I think someone was saying that you can't actually make the garage doors anymore, and I haven't got it on my list of parts, so that's a shame. But I have put that warp gated there, which looks quite good, like for the portal. And in here, the Hunters Guild, I put one of the aliens in the guild there, so you can get a quest off him, or you can give quests to the adventurers coming to the planet, because I think we figured out this is Rhaegal, and get adventurers here to go off and see if they can hunt for any ruins or artifacts. And the people here built these rappy statues, 2 power rappies and 1 hour rappy, to attract people as a sort of attraction to come and see. And I expect they go out on adventures as well themselves, trying to find anything to prove that this is Rhaegal and bring back artifacts. But yeah, so they got the place up and running now. The old shopping centre's back to life. The roof is missing, so I've got to put a new roof in there, but I'll get round to that. I can't seem to make this material anymore, so I have to make a wooden bit just to cover that, but that's no hassle. We got a chap here selling the weapons, because there are some dinosaurs out there. And we've got a chap here selling the monomates and herbs and dye fluids that you'll need when you go out there. And this is the character I designed for this one. I made him like in my mind, he's like an alien human hybrid, probably from somewhere on Earth where he had a captured UFO and back engineering them, and maybe sort of made a alien human hybrid. And I think probably he was the first one. They weren't too happy because they wanted him to look more humans. And my name is, I think his name's 01. His name is Zero because he was the first of the hybrids they tried, but it was never really accepted by the humans because he looked too alien, and never accepted by the aliens because he's got human with him. So I think he had enough of it and planned an escape and got away from there. Got a back engineered spacecraft and managed to get away. And he's just exploring the planets and found the Phantasy Star online ruins base. So if I go into, I'll move him out here so you can get an idea of the size of these. And I'll go into photo mode. It's a bit easier to see. It's the first time I've built with these blocks. You only get like the one size block and some little angled ones, and so I was quite pleased in the end with that effect. I think that looks, if you know our power rappies and that, I think it's almost like a pixel art version. The head's quite big, but when I was looking through the book that I've got, let's hide that menu. The Versus sort of game guide book. it had there was an article in there about the evolution of rappys, and it showed the rappys from Phantasy Star 4, and they did have quite big heads actually, so they probably look a bit like that. And the feet, the eyes, and the top of the antennas, there's nothing really to make them, so I just went back to the old thing of putting the lights to make the feet, because I initially didn't have feet, but putting the feet on there and also with the lights, I think it brings them to life, and it shines up I made them the same colour, and it does sort of bring them to life with the light. And I was quite pleased in the end to get these the antennas, because that's just like a box. But luckily with them you can stack them, but they don't click together, so you can sort of put them, twist them around, and have them at angles. And from a distance, I think they look quite good. It's like sort of antennas, sorry. And again, put the lights on the top, because I couldn't put anything else on there to give the effect of the ball that you have on them. And I was quite pleased with them. They do look like rappys, and I wanted to do an owl rappy bigger. I mean, I could have just done a rappy again like that and made it blue for an owl rappy. I'm really pleased with the power rappys. This one I'm okay with. I've been messing around because initially I had it a lot bigger, but it just wasn't good, so I made it not quite so big, and it's still a bit blocky. But I think I'm okay with it at the moment. I want it to look a bit fearsome, so it's like the protector of the power rappys with its wings coming out. You know, if you're getting too near, it's going to come out and attack you and scare you off. So I think in the end I'm quite happy with that owl rappy. He is a bit boxy, but there's not much you can do when you just get the same size block all the time. But I'm really pleased with the power rappys. I think they look good. I think I'm okay with that owl rappy. And get some good views in the photo mode. And also press the button in, and you can see them at night time. They look quite good when they're all lit up with the lights. So I was pleased with that. They are one of my favourite characters in the enemies, the old power rappys. That's what I like about in the game, really, because you don't really kill them as such when you hit them, and they just fall down, and then you got to watch them and then hit them again as they run away. So when I built these, I see them, and I was sort of thinking. I was thinking that would be like an enemy if you had like a Phantasy Star Hunters, you know, like you got Monster Hunter, but have a Phantasy Star Hunter type game, and that would be like the boss you would fight. Come up to the end forest, maybe, you know, you're investigating some unusual noises, and then you find the power rappy and fight him, and just as you think, oh, that's the final boss, then out from the fog you hear the joystick rumbling and an owl rappy screaming from the joystick, which you can get on the PS4. I had that just so I was just playing when I was been playing Tales of Berseria. It makes you jump sometimes, and because in that game sometimes the character will speak through the joystick, and that would be quite good if you heard the growl through the joystick, and out through the forest burst the owl rappy, the big owl rappy, and you suddenly realise, oh, he's the boss you got to fight. I think that would go well with a Monster Hunter style game, but with the Phantasy Star franchise. I'd certainly buy it. So let's get a nice, yeah, I'll leave that. That's quite a good picture there. I'm trying not to jump around too much. I found the last video where I was doing with a third person view, I was jumping around too much. But I was looking at what news there was on Phantasy Star, and here in England, UK, there's a magazine, Games TM, which I mean, I don't buy the magazines much now. I used to buy loads, but I've got to budget a bit. But I got this one because it had, this was it, issue 204, got Metro Exodus on the front, had a No Man's Sky little article in there, 10 reasons why you must return to No Man's Sky, which is always nice to see good press about No Man's Sky. And then when I looked through, there was a little article of Phantasy Star. And looking at the magazine, it looks like each issue they have a game industry person just say which game they sort of fondly remember. There's one in here about why I love Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. And this one is from Brian Intihar, the creative director of Insomniac Games, and he's got Why I Love Phantasy Star Online. It's 2 pages, and mainly covered. The cover is just a picture of someone playing the quest with Eleanor, and say it's got a little section, some words on the left that says it was one of the first games that really made me realise what the power of online communities could be. And then, yeah, Brian is our creative director in Insomniac Games. And then it's got a little article that he wrote on the other side from him that says Why I Love Phantasy Star Online, which I'll read it. It says, I used to be a gigantic Phantasy Star Online player. I am still so mad that they, Sega, won't release the second one in the US. It was one of the first games that really made me realise what the power of online communities could be. Now, obviously, World of Warcraft is amazing, but for me, I will always remember Phantasy Star Online. I remember meeting a childhood friend again by coincidence, and reconnecting with him through Phantasy Star Online. Well, that's pretty amazing to find an old schoolmate in it through it. But yeah. And then I remember bringing my Dreamcast and PC monitor over to my buddy's house because I love to see it with the VGA adapter and it looking all crisp and great. I remember all our night sessions with his parents waking up for work and we were still playing the game. The fact that it was really only 4 levels and we played them over and over again was spectacular. That game always stays with me. So it's really nice to see that article in there of someone, you know, a game maker from Insomniac Games is a big company, so saying how he loves Phantasy Star. So anything with that Phantasy Star that's good news, that hopefully that will trickle through to Sega. And the other news I could think of Phantasy Star is that I'm interested to see this Sega Ages. I think it's only on the Switch, but they're going to do Phantasy Star on that. I'm hoping that it's going to be the PS2 version, which had better graphics. I still can't believe I didn't buy that back in the day, really. I just didn't know about it, but if that is on the Switch, I mean, nice it was on the PS4, but you know, it's on the Switch. If it is the PS2 version with the better graphics, I think I'd get that. And I also thought I would just mention some of the games that I've got recently. The one I've just finished playing, which I got a digital download because this was a few months ago when it was on sale for about £16, was Tales of Berseria, which I really enjoyed. I mean, I've completed overall 4 Tales games, and that is second place of the 4 that I've completed. I mean, the top one that I did, and I really is my all-time favourite one, is Tales of Grace's F, which is really good. Great characters and good story that goes off in directions you wouldn't even think. But I highly recommend Tales of Grace's F. I say Tales of Berseria is a close second on that. And, the other, what's the other ones I bought? Oh yeah, Dragon Quest 11, which now I've finished Tales of Berseria. I'm just about 8 hours into that, and that seems really good. I got that from the game store in the UK, which is, I think, it's similar to GameStop that's in the US. And that came with some free badges, which are quite smart. I've got them here in front of me. They're quite big. There's 8 of them with the characters on. They're about 1.5 to 2-inch circle. I think they tend to do that at game just to entice you to buy it from them. So I'm glad I got it from there. And the other game which I got, but this one was a retro game. I got it from Cash Converters, that's it, like a second-hand pawn shop type place. And this is on the Xbox 360, Blue Dragon, which I think was an early game they did to try and get the Xbox 360 to take off in Japan. I think it's, well, on the back here it's got some reviews that it's had, 9 out of 10. I think it's, from what I've read about it, it's an okay game. That some people don't like it, and it is a cult game with some people who really like it. So I mean, it was only £3, so I wasn't going to pass that up. I will try that on the 360. I have tried it to see if it works, and it does, but I'm always wary on the 360 of playing it in the summer. I don't want to get the red ring of death if it gets too hot, so I tend to play it mostly, but I do play it for not too long, but in the winter. I did actually buy a fan to go on the back to help cool it down, but yeah, I suppose I am thinking that maybe this November, if we have the Black Friday sales, I might get an Xbox One, maybe Xbox One S, if they come down in price a bit. Just really for the backwards compatibility with a lot of the 360 games I got and the Xbox original games. I think it'd be worth it for that. So yeah, those are games that I bought recently. And I was also only thinking yesterday, you're seeing all these RPG games coming out and thinking what a good time it is to be an RPG fan. And there's so many games you're hearing that are getting redone. I mean, the two that I'm really interested in is Tales of Vesperia, which I did get a couple of years ago on the 360. Well, it's only on the 360. I got that from a retro shop about a couple of years ago, and I got about, I think, about a third of the way through it. But again, I think I stopped playing it because I was worried it was in the summer. I didn't want to overheat the 360. And I keep thinking, I'll go back to that. But now I know it's coming out, the definitive edition on the PS4. I don't like buying games remastered, ones that I already got, but I think I'll do it for that because it's got extra stuff on it. And I do like playing games on the PS4. I don't know what it's like on the PC or the Xbox, but I like it on the PS4 when you've got the menu, and then you, without even going into the game as such, you can look down and see your trophies and see if anyone's streamed it live, or videos or screenshots and communities, and I really like that. To me, that adds a lot to the game. So I'll definitely be getting that, and I'll get it a physical copy, and hopefully game might even put some little extras with it like they did with Dragon Quest. And then the other one I'm interested in is Grandeur 1 and 2, which I did play when I've had them for ages. I finally got round to playing them about 6 years ago, and I really enjoyed them. But I think I'll get them again, the remastered ones, because by then I probably forgot a lot about it. And if you haven't played them, well, I envy you really, because you've got a couple of good adventures to play there. But I was also thinking it'd be interesting to know what games I would like them to maybe remaster. I mean, and I've put the games down here so I wouldn't forget. The PlayStation 2, a lot of these are on PlayStation 2 because that was such a good machine for RPGs. There's so many of them. Was Shadow Hearts Covenant, which again, it's one of these games I had for ages before I got around to playing it. But once I got into it and realised how it played and the judgment wheel that you use for the fighting, I really liked it, and the story, characters, and that was brilliant. That's the second actually in the trilogy. The first one I never had. I've got the third one, Shadow Hearts from the New World. I'm quite a way into that. For some reason I stopped playing it and went somewhere else. So I've got to get back to that, otherwise I'm going to have to start again from the beginning. I'm sure I do that on purpose sometimes. Get to the end of, or get near to end of an RPG and then stop playing it and got to play it again when I forgot about it. Because like when I was playing Tales of Berseria, when you're on that last dungeon, you know that you're not far off the big boss fight, and maybe he's going to regenerate 2 or 3 times, and are you going to get through it? And then when you do, that's the game finished. Well, you might be lucky and get an extra encore bit, or you got the game plus mode maybe. But it's still, in a way, a sort of time that you feel a bit sad, really. You enjoyed all the beginning and getting the new game, and it's all ahead of you, and then at the end, you know that's going to be it finished. And I wonder sometimes, if not subconsciously, I'm doing it on purpose, not finishing the game, forgetting about it, and think, oh, I've got to start it again from fresh, you know. Well, I don't know about that, but that is a good trilogy. If you haven't played the Shadow Hearts, so I'd love them to bring that out, and then I could play that first one. The other ones is Legend of Legaia, which I played on the PS1 back in the day, and that is a really good game, again with a good fighting mechanic where you input your moves like with up, down, left and right, and you learn certain ones and you can guess certain ones, and they give you special moves and you link them together. And I really enjoyed that one back in the day. And I had the Legend of Legaia 2 Dual Saga on the PS2, and I think I've tried that a couple of times, got about halfway and then given up for some reason and gone on to something else and left it too long. But they are good games, and I certainly would like to see them remastered. And the other one is again on PlayStation 2. I had that ages until I had some time about 5-6 years ago and played it. It's Atelier Iris Eternal Manor, which is a top-down view, isometric view, turn-based RPG, and I really like that. Once I get into that, I really like that one. And I did try some of the later ones they do now, Atelier Sophie and that, but they're not the same games at all. And I know they did bring out Atelier Iris sort of ones like that, 2 and 3, but they are more that style of the proper adventure, so I'd like to see them do those. But those are sort of ones I'd like to throw into the hat. I'd be interested to know if you watch this video and you think, oh, but you know, what about such and such an RPG that you've played maybe? I'm up for knowing if there's RPGs that I don't know about and people, yes, it's a good one, I'd like to know that, but to look out for it, or if it's going to get remastered, I'll know that's a good one to get. I'm at the moment today when I'm doing this is Friday yeah, 5th of October, and I see on the PlayStation they got Elex for sale, £15, and I've seen that a few times, and that sort of intrigues me. It looks quite a good open world RPG, but I think it's had sort of some bad reviews and middling reviews, and I looked today and some of the reviews said it wasn't too bad, and I just wonder if maybe someone who's listening has played Elex and they could leave a comment and say, yeah, it ain't too bad. It'd be interesting to know, but again, if there's any RPGs people have played and they think, yes, I'd like to see this RPG remastered, and if it's one I've never heard of. And there was one Metal Xeno that's just been released on the PS4. Initially I thought that looked quite good, but I see some reviews and that, and they didn't look like it would be quite the game I like. Too many random battles and not a very good story, so I'd give that one a miss. But so I hope you've liked watching this, looking at my rappys that I built, and listen to me rabbit on about RPGs. And I'd like to hear if you know of any RPGs that you'd like to see remastered. But thanks for watching, and thank you for the kind people who subscribe to me. I'm much appreciated, and hopefully some other people out there on YouTube might see it and think it's not too bad, and like the rappys I built. But I think I better sign off now, and thank you very much for watching. Cheerio.